What's up, guys? It's JTB Gaming here, and to start off this episode of our Cambridge United Road to Glory, we have the Carabao Cup semi-finals against Liverpool. Liverpool will be lining up in their 4-3-3 false nine. We will be lining up in our 4-3-3 holding as we continue to line up with our strongest 11. In the 42nd minute, Gordon is in behind the defense before he knocks it across to Wamantuka, who puts the ball in the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In the 53rd minute, Liverpool are working the ball around the edge of the box before one of their players shoots it. It goes off the post, and then it falls to Lozano's feet as he equalizes the game at 1-1. At full time, it would be a 1-1 draw in the first leg of the semifinals, as we will have to make sure that we win the second leg, but first we have our FA Cup game against Manchester City. For our FA Cup game against Manchester City, we travel to the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City will be lining up in a 4-3-3 holding. We will continue to line up in our 4-3-3 holding. The only changes that we have made is Lopez is out injured, so Brown will be playing at defensive mid as we move Murray to center mid. In the 7th minute, Brown gets the ball before he finds Wamantuka, who turns his defender and then puts the ball into the back of the net to put us up 1-0 early in the game. In the 22nd minute, we have a penalty as Gordon steps up to take it. He shoots and converts it to put us up 2-0. In the 74th minute, Manchester City work the ball around the edge of the box before they find an open player who gets the ball and puts it into the back of the net, making the score now 2-1. At full time, we would go on to beat Manchester City 2-1 as we advance into the FA Cup. We now host Liverpool in the second leg of the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. We will be lining up in our 4-3-3 holding. Lopez makes a return to the starting lineup, so Brown is out and Murray is moved back to defensive mid. Liverpool will again be lining up in their 4-3-3 false nine. In the 53rd minute, Wamantuka is in behind the defense. He shoots, Alisson saves it, but it falls right to Lopez, who puts it in the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In the 59th minute, Sadio Mane beats Murray before he plays it into Serge Gnabry, who puts the ball in the back of the net to tie the game at 1-1. In the 78th minute, Alexander-Arnold crosses the ball. It is then headed to Lozano, who somehow gets the volley off to put Liverpool up 2-1. At full time, Liverpool would go on to win 2-1 as they advanced to the final of the Carabao Cup. Liverpool won 3-2 on aggregate as they will face Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. After that loss against Liverpool, I came to the conclusion that we would need some reinforcements for next season, so I'm looking to bring in a right back, a defensive mid, and a striker. The first player that I've brought in is Musa Wag from Atletico Madrid. He can play right back, right wing back, or left back, and we have bought him for $34 million. The next player that I've bought is Lucas Torreira from AS Monaco. He can play defensive mid or center mid, and we have bought him for $50.2 million. The next player that we have signed is Tammy Abraham from Hoffenheim. His contract was expiring, so we were able to get him on a free transfer, as we now are done buying players for next season. We now get into our Europa League game against Bayern Leverkusen. They will be lining up in a 3-4-2-1. They have some very, very talented players, so this should be a challenge. We will again be sticking with our 4-3-3 holding. In the 5th minute, McAvoy plays the ball into Lopez, who crosses the ball into the back post as Gordon is there to finish it to put us up 1-0. In the 10th minute, Gordon gets the ball before he plays it through to McAvoy, who takes a touch and finishes it side netting to put us up 2-0. In the 25th minute, the ball is played across the box before Drummond makes a mistake, where their striker is able to get the ball and put it into the back of the net to make the score 2-1. In the 36th minute, Lopez finds himself on the ball before he places it to Wamantuka, who puts it far post to put us up 3-1. In the 89th minute, Gallardo finds himself behind the defense before he lays the ball over to Rolls, who puts it in the back of the net, making the score now 4-1. At full time, we would beat Bayer Leverkusen 4-1 in the first leg of the Europa League. In the second leg, I played the backups as we lost 3-0, but we won on aggregate. In the round of 16, we will now be facing Lyon. We now get right into that first leg of the Europa League round of 16 game against Lyon. We have again not made any changes as we continue to line up in our 4-3-3 holding. Lyon will also be lining up in a 4-3-3 holding. In the 9th minute, Lyon have the ball out wide before it's played into their player, who crosses it back post as Augustin is unmarked as Lyon go up 1-0. In the 15th minute, Hendricks is on the ball before he plays it to Lopez, who plays it through to Wamangituka, who puts the ball into the back of the net to equalize the game at 1-1. In the 19th minute, Wamangituka gets the ball, he plays it away before he is slide tackled late by Agustin. The referee decides to award him a card, and it is a red card, meaning that we now have a one-man advantage. In the 24th minute, Jansen heads the ball to Wamangituka, who bike crosses it into Gordson, who heads the ball into the back of the net to put us up 2-1. In the 45th minute, Wamangituka plays Lopez in behind the defense before he opens his hips and curls it side netting to put us up 3-1. In the 75th minute, Paqueta plays Wamangituka in behind the defense before he muscles the ball off the defender and volleys it into the back of the net to put us up 4-1. At full time, we would go on to win 4-1 against Lyon, as we have a very significant advantage heading into the second leg. I again played the backups in the second leg, as we would only lose that game 2-1, but we would win 5-3 on aggregate. In the quarterfinals of the Europa League, we've been drawn against Villarreal. Looking at April, it will be a very, very difficult month for us, as we have 3 very crucial league games, as well as the Europa League quarterfinals, and we also have an FA Cup game, so this will be a very hard month for the club. However, I think we can pull through. Looking at the league more specifically, we have played one less game than second place Manchester City, and we have 83 points and they have 76 points. So if we were to play a game and play the same amount of games as Manchester City, we could be 10 points ahead. We now head into the quarterfinals of the Europa League as we host Villarreal. We will continue to line up in that 4-3-3 holding as we play our strongest 11. This game will be very important for Paqueta as we bought him from Villarreal. Villarreal will be lining up in a 4-1-4-1. In the 12th minute, the ball goes out wide to Paqueta as he crosses it into Wamangituka before the keeper blocks it, but it falls right to Gordson, who volleys it into the back of the net to put us up 1-0 early on in the game. In the 23rd minute, Dendoncker makes the rare mistake of passing it to the wrong player before their player gets the ball and curls it around Diaz to equalize the game at 1-1. In the 30th minute, Wamangituka uses his speed to get around the defense for his 1-1 with the keeper, and he lifts it over the keeper to put us up 2-1. In the 35th minute, Dendoncker is bodied off the ball before the player plays it into his teammate, who puts it in the back of the net, tying the game at 2-2. In the 73rd minute, Paqueta plays the ball out wide to McAvoy, who crosses the ball into Wamangituka, who beats the keeper and the defender to put us up 3-2. In the 89th minute, Wamangituka is in behind the defense before he does a flare pass to Gordson, who puts it in the back of the net to put us up 4-2. At full time, we would go on to win 4-2, as we have a 2-goal advantage heading into the second leg. We now travel to the Estadio de la Ceramica to face Villarreal in the second leg of the Europa League quarterfinals. Villarreal will again be lining up in a 4-1-4-1, as they have only made one change, and that change was in center midfield. We have not made any changes from the first leg. In the 34th minute, Villarreal get the ball on the edge of the box before they play it through to their teammate, who puts the ball in the back of the net to put Villarreal up 1-0 in the game. Just before halftime, Lopez turns his defender for it, plays Paqueta, who one-touches it to Wamangituka in behind the defense before he puts it side netting to level the game at 1-1. In the 82nd minute, Wamangituka is able to muscle off some defenders before he opens his hips and curls it in the back of the net to put us up 6-3 on aggregate. In the 92nd minute, Paqueta dribbles around his former teammate before he finds Wamangituka in the box, who puts it in the back of the net to complete his hat-trick and to put us up 7-3 on aggregate. At full time, we would go on to beat Villarreal 3-1 in this game. After beating Villarreal 7-3 on aggregate, we will advance to the semifinals. In the semifinals, we've been drawn against our third French side as we face Stade Rennais. In the FA Cup final, we have been drawn against championship side Norwich City. I have not been playing any of the more recent games, as all of the bigger teams have been knocked out in the earlier stages. We now host Stade Rennais in the Europa League semifinal, first leg. Since this formation and team has been working all season long, I have decided I will stick with it for the rest of the season. Stade Rennais will be lining up in a 4-4-2. In the 27th minute, Mamantuka finds himself in behind the defense before he crosses it back post to McAvoy, who puts it in the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In the 49th minute, we earned a penalty as Gorson sets up to take it. He hits it off the right post and in as we go up 2-0. After we lose the ball in the 54th minute, they come right at us with a counterattack, and they score to make the game 2-1. In the 75th minute, Mamantuka gets the ball out wide, and he smashes it near post to put us up 3-1. In the 80th minute, McAvoy is dribbling in the box before he crosses it back post to Mamantuka, who puts the ball in the back of the net to put us up 4-1. At the end of the game, we would beat Stade Rennais 4-1, as we have a huge advantage heading into the second leg of the Europa League semifinals. I again played the subs in the second leg as we simmed the game and we lost 2-1, however we won on aggregate 5-3. After beating Stade Rennais, we have advanced to the final, in which we will face Roma. We now have a very important league game as we face Arsenal. If we get a draw from this game, we will win the title, or if Manchester City lose, we will win the title. We will be keeping a close eye on the Manchester City-Chelsea game. We now host Arsenal in our most important Premier League game yet. We roll out our strongest 11 as we look to clinch the title. Arsenal will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. In the 24th minute, Mamantuka plays Lopez before he spots the run of Paqueta as he puts the ball into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. Heading into halftime, thanks to that goal by Paqueta, no matter what the result is at the Man City game, we will win the league. The Manchester City-Chelsea game is a 0-0 tie, which just improves our odds of winning the league. In the 57th minute, the ball is crossed into the box. Jansen fails to properly clear it. So does Drummond before it falls right to Pepe, who puts it in the back of the net to tie the game at 1-1. At full time, we would tie Arsenal, meaning that we win the league. And the fans go wild, as that draw against Arsenal means that we do go on to win the Premier League. This is an absolutely amazing accomplishment for the club, as this is our first major domestic win. The players are all celebrating as they know how hard the season has been. Going into the season, we were not projected to win the league. However, we defied all the odds and we went on to win the league. There are still 2 games left, which just goes on to prove how dominant we actually are. As the players now go on to lift the trophy, Paqueta is our captain, as he has made the biggest impact this season. So we have given him captaincy, as he will get to lift the Premier League trophy for the first time for Cambridge United. Paqueta grabs the trophy and he lifts it, solidifying us as Premier League champions. There is the team photo of the Premier League champions, Cambridge United. After that 1-1 draw, we have officially won the Premier League, and we did it in stunning fashion as it was definitely a game that kept the fans entertained. Looking at the Premier League table at the end of the season, we did finish in first. We won 30 games, we drew 5, we lost 3, we scored 84 goals, we only allowed 34 as we had a goal difference of 48. We finished on 95 points, and Manchester City finished in second on 94. After winning the league, we now look to win the FA Cup as we face Norwich at Wembley. We will again be lining up in this 4-3-3 holding. Norwich City will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. In the 20th minute, Gordon is dribbling in behind the defense before he cuts it back and smashes the ball into the back of the net to put us up 1-0 early. At halftime, we are up 1-0. It has been a very even game. However, the scoreline is in our favor, so that is all that matters. In the 61st minute, Norwich are working the ball before they played into their player, who was able to turn Jansen and put the ball in the back of the net, tying the game at 1-1. In the 90th minute, Gordon is dribbling in behind the defense. He beats all the defenders and curls it around the goalie to give us the win with a score of 2-1. After those 2 goals by Gordon, we would go on to beat Norwich 2-1. And the fans at Wembley go absolutely wild as we have won the FA Cup. This is absolutely amazing for the club, as this is our second piece of major silverware in our whole entire managerial career and this season. It has been a relatively easy path to the FA Cup final. However, that should not be taken for granted, as we did still have to beat those teams and we did still have to win everything. As the players now go to lift the trophy, Paqueta, our captain, will be the one to lift. Paqueta now joins the rest of the players as he grabs the trophy. And he lifts the trophy, officially solidifying us as the FA Cup winners. There's a team picture for Cambridge United, the Emirates FA Cup champions. After all that, we would go on to win 2-1. We definitely dominated the game, so we definitely deserve to win. There it is, we are officially FA Cup winners as we beat Norwich 2-1 in the final. Gordon was our only player to finish in the top 3 for any of the categories, as he tied for second with goals, as he had 4 goals in 3 games. We now travel to the London Stadium to face Roma in the Europa League final. Roma will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. Their biggest 3 threats will be Camavinga, Diarra, and Sanchez. We have not made any changes from the FA Cup squad as we continue to line up in our 4-3-3 holding. There is the trophy that we will be playing for as we now get into the game. In the 5th minute, McAvoy is played down the wing before he cuts it back to Lopez, who takes a touch and then curls it around the keeper to put us up 1-0 very early in the game. In the 32nd minute, Gordon is dribbling in the box as he dribbles around 3 defenders before he puts the ball into the back of the net to put us up 2-0. At halftime, we are up 2-0, and we have been completely dominating this game as Roma have 0 shots on target. In the 49th minute, Lopez gets the ball, he turns around a defender, gets the ball on 18, he shoots and scores to put us up 3-0 just after halftime. In the 53rd minute, Tuka takes it to the end line before he cuts it back, crosses it into McAvoy, who puts the ball into the back of the net to put us up 4-0. In the 90th minute, Roma get the ball out wide, they cross it in, and their striker is able to head the ball into the back of the net as they get a consolation goal, making the score 4-1. After that goal by Gordon, those 2 goals by Lopez, and that goal by McAvoy, we beat Roma 4-1 in the Europa League final. The fans and the players go absolutely wild as we are now Europa League champions. It's been an amazing journey to get to this point. We have had to face some very, very difficult teams. However, we have taken care of them swiftly. The players all celebrate together, knowing that this is our 3rd piece of silverware this season. As we now look to hoist the trophy, our captain Paqueta will be the one to lift it. Paqueta now steps up to the podium to lift the trophy. He grabs the trophy and he lifts it as we are now Europa League champions. There is the team picture as Cambridge United are officially UEFA Europa League champions. Looking at the match facts for the game, we completely deserve to win 4-1 as we just outplayed Roma in every category. There is the official scoreline as we are officially winners as we beat Roma 4-1 in the Europa League final. Tuka and Gordon were our only players to finish in the top 3 of any statistical category, as Tuka scored 11 goals in 9 games, and Gordon scored 9 goals in 9 games. Looking at the team stats now, Murray led the team in appearances as he appeared in 65 games, Diaz appeared in 64 games, and Hendricks appeared in 57 games. Looking at our top goal scorers, Gordon finished with the most goals as he scored 34 goals. Tuka was a very close second as he scored 30 goals, and in third, Murray scored 16. Looking at our players who had the most assists, Murray and Paqueta both had 13 assists, Gordson had 12 assists, and Wamangituka had 11 assists. Looking at our players who kept the most clean sheets, Diaz kept the most as he kept 20, Murray kept 19, and McAvoy kept 18. Diaz also registered an assist as a goalkeeper. Looking at the highest overall players in our team, Gordson is the best as he is now a 94 overall. Lopez and Hendricks are now 86 overalls, and Jansen, Paqueta, and Dendoncker are 84 overalls. Looking at our players whose overall went up the most, Yassine's overall went up by 9, Vasquez's went up by 8, and Aduma's went up by 6. Looking at our most valuable players, Gordson is now worth $185.5 million. Lopez is worth $95 million, and Hendricks is worth $90 million. Financially, this season, we were able to make a $358.65 million profit, as our club is now worth $996.95 million, with a projection of being $1.57 billion. Looking at our overall career resume, we have won now 3 league titles. We won 2 domestic cups. We did win a Continental Cup. Our record transfer fee was $38.4 million. We have played 425 games. We have won 287 of those. We have drawn 69 and we have lost 69. We have scored 802 goals while only conceding 409. Looking at this 2025-2026 season specifically, the club wanted us to finish in a Europa League spot, but we went on to win the cup. They wanted us to reach the round of 16 in the FA Cup, which we won. They wanted us to reach the final of the European Cup, which we did. We won the Europa League, we won the FA Cup, we were semi-finalists in the Carabao Cup, and we won the Premier League. Surprisingly, we never won Manager of the Month, and we did not win Manager of the Year. The highest transfer fee that we paid was for Dendoncker of $38.4 million, and the highest transfer fee that we received was for Valera of $60.6 million. This season, we played 67 games, we won 55, we drew 7, we lost 5, we scored 147 goals while only allowing 62 goals. I hope you all enjoyed watching. In our next episode, we will be participating in the World Cup with the US men's national team. So if you want to see that, stay tuned. And it's JTB Gaming, signing off.